Welcome. Here you go. Thanks, Roberto.
Morning.
So let's do the same pattern, if you don't mind. A little background on yourself. How did you get into IT instead of being a professional gamer? And then we can talk about Royal Caribbean.
Well, actually, I did think that I was going to be a professional gamer when I was young.
That seems to be a pattern this morning.
I thought I was going to be designing video games at some point in my life. But no, I was a computer enthusiast since as far as I can remember in high school. Eventually I started working, building desktops, deploying them, and I think I used to do like deliveries of rentals and that kind of stuff. I had several little jobs. Eventually I got into consulting, so did a lot of little deployments with small, large, medium-sized companies. That was fun. And actually, I remembered that I once did a deployment at the Luxottica brand, Sunglass Hut.
Wow.
When I spoke to her about that at that stage in my life. I remember I did a lot of deployments for large companies, and one of them was Royal Caribbean. I did a couple projects there, and eventually they decided to offer me a job for whatever reason.
Where was this?
This was, I believe, 98, 99.
And where were you in the country?
Miami.
I just want to know how you get a job with Royal Caribbean.
I don't know.
But it's cool.
It just happened. But it was cool. It was a great opportunity. So I've been there quite a number of years. I've had the opportunity to grow in IT during that time. So I've done everything from desktop support to operations analyst, system administrator, and engineer, mostly around Windows technologies. And today, I still do all of the above. But my official role is a technical architect, or I like to describe myself as technically an architect, not to take away from my Visios, which are great, and my documentation work, which is fun. But I do have the opportunity to be involved in many projects from the endpoint back to the data center. So it's been good for me.
So again, let me give you the dummies view of Royal Caribbean. I see complexity, global organization. A big part of your operation is mobile, the ships themselves, and then you got a huge call center up front, right? Which is call center and internet, which is dealing with customer requests and information coming in. So maybe talk a little bit about the background to that technically, and then how you ended up at iGel.
Yeah, so over the years working in multiple projects, I tended to, because of my background in supporting desktops, building them, application support, I was a good fit for a lot of the technologies that were required for our call center agents. We eventually brought in, virtualization via Citrix for a use case there, and over the years I've played a lead role in designing and implementing that agent experience for our call centers. So just a little background on our model. For our North America call centers, we have outsourced call centers, and we have in-house call centers. But for our North America call centers, our model is a very common model. We use shared desktop for all the agents, so all the resources are housed in Citrix environment. And the endpoints are full Windows OS machines. So we've, over the years, devised multiple ways of locking down and managing that operating system, and to create a thin client-like experience that we could manage and would work for the agents. So unfortunately, from time to time, we've had issues. So we have a multitude of technologies. We have some locking down applications, policies, and scripting. We still have Zen Client around. and so we have issues from time to time with managing these devices.
And can you give me an idea of scale? Like how many agents, how many locations, how many devices? I mean, it seems it's a big operation, right? And you said both inbound and outbound call center?
Correct. Yeah, so we have about 3,000 call center agents. We have about 6 or 7 physical call centers around the world. In North America specifically, we have 3 large call centers. We have 6 or 7 brands, so the call centers, the brands are distributed across all those call centers. And to get to how we decided to use iGel, to solve those issues that we were having, well, specifically, around June of last year, we had a multitude of issues all at once. Basically, ish hit the fan type of scenario. So rather than me doing a workaround or trying to fix the issue and just creating another management headache for ourselves, I wanted to revisit the iGel solution. I think we did a demo many months before. I've been running it at my desk for myself for months. So, but we had to move quickly because call center is a critical portion of the business. It's revenue generating. Yep. And we have what we call our wave period towards the end of the year, where we essentially halt all major changes to the environment. So I didn't have a lot of time, and I needed to know whether iGel could be a solution for me. I knew at a high level it could, but I had to make it work. So basically within 2 weeks, I was able to do a POC to production. Once we decided to roll it out, we focused on one of our call centers in Wichita, Kansas, in the most need. So we, in about under 2 months, with only about 2 technicians, we were able to roll out that entire call center, about 400 endpoints. It's been running great.
Did you take out the Windows environment and put iGel?
Yes. Okay. And and a little more background, we've tried thin clients in the past. I've tried, Wise, HP. For one reason or another, it would never work out. Management sometimes was an issue, or had a multitude of different reasons. So it was kind of difficult for me to also bring in, because
you had to sell it internally?
Yeah, the business had this reminder of, your thin clients. Remember when we tried those thin clients that we rolled out and had to, they're in a closet somewhere. But it worked. POC went great. We deployed it, and the number one thing I hear from the users is that it's fast. It's fast. We had boot times upwards of 5 minutes in the past. Now we're at 60 seconds average. Wow. The machines run more stable. We've been able to eliminate all those potential management issues that always came up out of nowhere because of the nature of managing Windows and things being pushed to the device and updates and antivirus, that kind of thing. So, and in addition to that, the machines were very old. Thanks to virtualization, we had 8-year-old machines in the call center. And one of the solutions that we were looking at, which wasn't a full solution, was to, again, replace machines. But luckily, we were able to keep those machines and give them a like-new experience for the user. So we didn't replace any machines, replaced them, and everybody's happy. And I'm very happy with the product. And
have you rolled it out past Wichita, the other call centers? Or
yeah, I have a couple across the other call centers. I do. Yep.
And where do you see it going? And where do you see kind of the desktop environment going?
Okay. Well, definitely for this year, we're tasked with making sure we complete the UDC rollout. I didn't know, I did mention it. We're using the UDC product. So we're going to complete that in North America across all our call centers, all those agents. In addition to that, I'm again going to revisit many use cases that I was never able to properly address, like some remote worker situations, disaster recovery, some mobile laptop users. I'm going to see where the product fits. I've been testing UDP for myself. I use the laptop, take it home, my personal laptop, plug it in when plug in the UDP when I'm in the office. It works great. So I have some use cases for that. I mean, we're looking at deploying Windows 10 across the enterprise. So we're excited to not do the usual and just deploy a fat OS into machines. So we're looking at potentially VDI and or DAS solutions for that. I think what excites me is what we're doing for our guest-facing technologies, right? We're going through a digital transformation right now, and we're trying to, as we always have, disrupt the cruising industry. We've always stayed ahead of technology and the really cool things on the ship. And we have great technology now, but we're looking to leverage a lot of the things we've been talking about at this forum, like AI, machine learning, to create a seamless, and these are the words from our CEO, a seamless, simple, and I think it was seamless, simple, and I can't remember the last word, but a seamless experience for the users, frictionless, that was the word.
Okay.
A frictionless experience for our guests, right? Because we're gonna be throwing in a lot of technology to the ships, but we want it to just be seamless for the user, right? They want to, we're gonna do things that like a user could walk in to the room with their phone and unlock the door. It'll welcome them. They could be in a hallway and the kiosk screen will welcome them. They could order drinks and food from their phone. Mm-hmm. So we're doing a lot of things around that. And what's exciting to me is that this is not only happening for guest-facing technology. All of our employees on the ships are going to be having that same experience day to day. And I know it's going to trickle down to a lot of the users that I am mostly responsible for in the corporate side.
Yep. And how is the iGel solution part of that? Just for Doug the dummy. So I see the challenge. Big mobile workplace. As a guest on a cruise, you think, okay, I'm out of contact, basically, as soon as I hit the open water. And I don't think of that kind of guest experience on a ship. Now, I haven't been on a cruise for a few years, but obviously you're saying that's changing. How does iGel solution fit into that, or does it right now?
I mean, for me, the main thing that iGel Solutions is allowing people like myself in IT is flexibility.
Okay.
I mean, just in the last week, I was able to, very easily address, a new solution that we needed to deploy very quickly to the agents. And typically, we would have to replace those machines with a temporary machine. So I was able to deploy different changes and customizations to the machines, to the target users, and they're ready to go. So I think it enables us to be ready for a lot of the innovation that's happening on the software side. A lot of SaaS application, cloud, VDI. So I think it's just going to enable us to address those situations as they come. And
more easily and more flexibly.
Yep.
Cool. So mind if I open it up to questions? Anyone have any questions? Steve? You got to love him.
Hold on.
I mean, the big thing here is you hit the wall with Windows. I'd just love to get your take on what the net impact is on those agents. Just being able to sell more and do more. I mean, drive revenue. What was the net impact on those agents when you hit the wall with the Windows environment?
Yeah, that's the main thing that if you think about when you the cruising experience starts with that call. Yes. to the call center. Even though there's still a lot of web bookings, but still the number one way of guests beginning their vacation experience is with that call. So it's key that the last thing you want to hear is the dreaded, I'm sorry, but my system is slow, or we're having system issues, kind of thing. Yeah. So that is one of the number one things I hear, because we had a multitude of issues that always translated to that for a lot of the agents. And for the last, I mean, this was a very recent implementation, but all I'm hearing is good news how it's just works, right? Because we put a lot of work on the back end, but the endpoint is it's the first point of contact to get to the data and the resources. So if we don't take care of that, we always end up with a bad experience for the agents. And so it's working out great. They're very happy.
Fantastic.
Hey, Roberto, what has this done to your desktop team, right? I mean,
There's a bunch of people watching online over there.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize that. So, Roberto, what has this done to the desktop team? Obviously, when you're talking about 3,000 workstations around there, and that's just the call centers. As you're going down this road, what are those guys saying? I mean, you're obviously in the backside, coming up with these great ideas. Are they receptive to this kind of thing? Do you see the adoption from the other teams on these ideas that you're coming up with? Are they giving you the big,
I got that at first, at the beginning. It was like, oh, another solution, another technology that they're going to manage, and we're just going to wipe our hands when there's a problem, and we're just going to call Smokey. Smokey is my my nickname. You catch me on the side, I could.
Is that Smokey the Bandit or Smokey the Bear? There's a good and a bad to that.
Smokey the Bear.
All right.
Yeah, so they weren't at first, but I mean, it didn't take too long for them to realize that it just works. And at the end of the day, they're tasked with, they're in the front line with users, and they just want to get them up and working, right? So they're telling me that it works great. They're very happy with, how fast. They haven't had to do much replacement, but users are asking for them, and it's very little effort for them to, swap the machines and get them up and working. And now they could focus more on, anything that happens within, their desktop versus, dealing with machine issues and that kind of thing.
Great. Anyone else? Yes, right here in the middle.
So you've been around a long time, and you've seen different kinds of customers onboard and offboard your ships. So 2 parts to this question. How many staff do you have on a ship at a given time? And then the second is, how have you seen the evolution of the requirements of your guests that are on the ships?
Yeah, good question. So on our larger ships, we have upwards of 2,000 to 3,000 employees alone. It's basically like its own city. It's like floating hotels, but a very large hotel. So we got thousands of employees and thousands of guests on every ship. We've definitely worked really hard to stay ahead of the guest expectations. Because our ships are so large, have so much things you don't expect on a cruise, people forget that they're out at sea. We noticed that very early on. Everybody wants to get connected. Everybody wants internet. Everybody wants, to be Facebooking. So, today we're ahead of the game. Where, we have a pretty decent internet speeds for guests. We have pervasive Wi-Fi across the ship, in the cabins, all over the ship, and we've built a lot of technology around what the guest expectation is, right? So we've noticed, and now we're just trying to bring it up just another level, right? We know what they're expecting, and we're using a lot of the technologies we've talked about in this forum. We're trying to build that environment for them.
Well, that's the Amazon model. Give them what you know they want, which obviously all the kids want to be online all the time.
Or they don't
then give them what they don't even know they want yet, which
Correct.
is what you were talking about, which is being able to walk in their room and have something happen, have something connect on their phone.
Right. So we talk about big data. That's going to be key. So we've always gathered information on guests as much as possible, so that we could give them a personalized experience, right? But all that information is scattered A lot of it is on paper.
Yep.
So the more and more data we were able to gather, especially on repeat cruisers and that kind of thing, the more personalized of an experience, the guests are going to have. One of the things we're envisioning, and it's already happening, imagine a waiter right before they walk up to a guest already know who they are and they're here for their honeymoon because they see it on on an app or in their Google Glasses or whatever. Because that's very powerful.
Yes. I was just thinking, as long as you don't walk up and say, "Are you going to have another tequila, sir?" I mean, you do have to get married at 6 o'clock this evening.
I guess in that scenario, maybe you could be helpful. Like if you knew he was going to get married the next day,
you might cut him off.
Like, hey.
Yeah, there you go. All right, any other questions? All right, Roberto, thanks a lot. That was really, really great story. Thank you so much for sharing with us. Thank you.